You're listening to Two Chunks and a Hunk. Movie musings for mostly everybody. Hello and welcome to Two Chunks and a Hunk. My name is Jordan Wonders, and this week I'm your hunk.
I'm Doge, and you know, Jordan and Carter, you guys are way behind the times. The chunks of the 80s aren't tough. They're sensitive people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm Carter, and I'm too old for this chunk.
Yeah.
So as I was kind of mentally playing back that first little bit of our show, I noticed that you said hunk.
I did.
Are you going to tell us why?
I'd love to. Yeah.
Please.
It was, at one point, my birthday.
Oh,
That's it.
How'd you
happy
celebrate?
birthday.
What'd you do? How'd you celebrate?
I took the day off work and watched movies. Watched Jojo Rabbit, finally.
ooh, what'd you think?
Very good.
Yeah.
A very good movie. I enjoyed it a lot.
Same. One of my faves from this last year.
Yeah, Taika is a
Prosthetics
genius.
were not at all convincing to me. I didn't for a second believe that he was a real rabbit. I think they could have done a lot
gosh, I was
better
like,
creature
where is this
effects
going?
work in that one.
Yeah, just sort of hung out, ate some cheesecake.
Kind of does look like a rabbit.
A little.
Yeah.
A little. A little.
Of the many names that my wife and I call our dog,
Mhm.
which her name is just Nana,
Mhm.
simply.
Yeah.
Sometimes she becomes some form of chew, like a CHOO.
Oh,
So when she's tired, she's a sleepy chew.
mm-hmm.
And the other day, Chelsea was like, "Hello, Sleepy Chew in the wall. Sleepy Chew, come out." And I'm melted from
Very funny.
from cute funny.
Yeah, I like that. So tune in next week.
Good episode so far, guys. Really good episode.
Hey, are we talking about a movie?
Nope.
Yes.
I'd love it if we
Not
did.
yet.
I'd love it if we did. And if that movie was part of our Saturday afternoon's ongoing series, then I think that movie would probably be called
Lethal Weapon.
The first of many Lethal Weapons.
Yeah.
4 to be
Not the kind of weapon that Taylor
Precise.
Lautner has. That's for dancing.
right.
Musical weapon.
That's a musical weapon.
This still blows my mind that exists
I know.
and that we got corrected on it.
That's even better to
I
me.
appreciate the
glad.
correction.
I'm glad we
Yeah.
got corrected on it because, as you know, if you've listened to our show for any length of time,
We
we're
wrong a lot.
We're dumb about a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, a whole mess of stuff we're real dumb about. But Lethal Weapon is not that kind of movie. Doge, could you tell us what kind of movie it is? Maybe
I
with a
would
synopsis?
Love to tell you what kind of movie this is. This week's synopsis comes from, and this is the first user that we've got that's got a stage name. And it seems like it's a collective of people. This is written as a proper noun. Every word is capitalized. The Massey Twins.
Ooh.
Okay.
The Massey Twins,
Got
right?
to offer.
Roger Murtaugh is an aging family man and sensible veteran police officer just trying to make it through the day unscathed. Martin Riggs is a suicidal loose cannon cop who doesn't care if he even lives to see the end of the day. Reluctantly thrown together to solve the mysterious murder of a banker's daughter, the unlikely duo uncovers a dangerous ring of drug smugglers employing ex-military mercenaries. After a tragic turn of events, the mission becomes personal, and the mismatched investigators must learn to trust one another as they wage a two-man war against a deadly criminal organization.
I mean, kudos.
Yeah.
The Massey Twins prove definitively once and for all that two is better than one.
Yeah,
They
pretty
work
precise.
together to create an excellent synopsis.
That's pretty
Absolutely.
precise. Had you guys seen this before?
No.
For sure.
I don't think I had, but I had somehow a recollection of an enormous amount of this movie. So I'm thinking maybe I had seen it at some point.
Gotcha.
Did you watch it on TV after mowing the yard, perhaps?
That could have
one
been
day?
it. Yeah,
That's how
glass of
these
sweet
movies go
tea.
sometimes.
Yeah.
That could
I
have been
watched it. I had never watched it. Not on TV. So
Okay.
the first scene, I was like,
There
don't
we go.
remember this.
Yeah.
Right.
There's some bits
There's
hanging
some
out.
bits.
Yeah, there's some dangly bits. What was this movie rated? Do you remember?
R.
It is R.
R.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Because it's pretty intense at several moments.
Yeah.
With violence, some nudity.
Well, yeah.
Language.
The F-bombs alone would have
Language.
made it R.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I know you're right because it is R.
Yeah.
In fact.
Yep. And that's what it says on the rating. Too many F-bombs.
Yeah, too many. Yeah, sorry guys, too many on this one.
Too many bombs.
Why'd they do that?
So this is our first Mel movie.
Crazy.
This is our first Danny movie. Not
Also
as crazy,
crazy.
but
This is
still
our first,
crazy.
This is our first Gary movie. Perhaps
Yeah,
the
perhaps
most
our last.
surprising of all.
Yeah.
And this was supposedly like brought his career back. Like he had already bombed before this happened.
Why don't we do a Gary Busey series called Now Busey Me?
But we'd have to say everything like up at the front.
It sounds like Matthew McConaughey
Dude.
wearing dentures.
Yeah.
Dude, so bad.
Was he? I'm just going to blow this question up right here. Is he the guy that his daughter was dating? Is that what we're supposed to think?
Yes.
Yeah. Really?
I think so. Yeah.
Oof. That's a tough one to swallow.
Maybe? I don't know.
That part was leave that in. That part was confusing.
Yeah.
That part was like it was just hard for me to get through.
So this movie was written by one of my favorites, Shane Black. I think knowing that put me in the wrong headspace to enjoy this movie.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Because Shane Black, in my experience, minus the Predator misstep recently, Shane Black, in my experience, is consistently so funny
Yeah.
and quick in his dialogue that I was like, give me the snappy stuff.
I agree. I was expecting something a lot snappier.
And we
Yeah.
came in and I was like, this is fine. I don't know. I was,
Murdoch Riggs back and forth is fun, but that's
Yeah.
about all you get. Of
the
it.
the recurring, you want me to drive is very funny.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then there's little moments like he Three Stooges the guys at the Christmas tree farm and then goes
Yeah.
back home and Three Stooges on his TV.
Yeah.
But then it's the audio of Looney Tunes, which is weird.
yeah.
But so there's little stuff like that that's very fun. And like you get the Shane Black, it's always Christmas time.
Yep.
It's always
Hey,
LA.
Real quick, all three of our Day afternoons have been Christmas flicks. Did you guys notice that it was Christmas in First Blood?
Yeah.
Oh
They
my
had Christmas
God.
There's a
lights up.
Christmas tree in the sheriff's office. in
So do you
First
think
Blood.
there's something to be said for setting a movie at a highly recognizably decorated holiday?
I guess. I don't
I
know.
think Christmas is just the most stressful time of year for dads, and that's when they want to unleash their action hero.
That could be
I
it.
think that's the whole
Probably it.
point of
That's
it. Is we
perfect.
know
But-
our audience, and we know dads are stressed on Christmas.
I don't know. I was just thinking through like there's just a lot of movies, not every movie obviously, but there's a ton of movies I really like that are set around major holidays.
No, I think it is every movie. Tell
Every
me more
movie
about
in the
how it's
world,
every
yeah.
movie that's set at Christmas.
Well, you know, that's true.
Not
Not,
that
even
it's
just
every
Christmas,
movie.
just major holidays.
yeah.
Just thought that was interesting.
there's so many Christmas Batman movies.
Yeah.
Like you at least see Christmas once.
Well, I mean, I think that's so. There's the interesting conversation of shorthand. Like a good example is when Hercules in the Disney animated Hercules, when he gets on his knees and prays like a Christian to talk
Mhm.
to Zeus.
Yeah.
That's not something that a Grecian fellow would do. He would
Right.
bring a goat or something and
Right.
sacrifice it. But
Different movie.
that's shorthand for the audience to know, okay, he's being
This is-
penitent, he's
yeah.
being pious, he's praying.
Right.
And I think something about Christmas is shorthand for like, we understand what's happening in the world, what kind of things are pulling our characters away from the pressures of the plot, what other things they're thinking about.
Yeah.
There's something
So-
that, having it during Christmas adds kind of like an overlay of tension and also like juxtaposition of all the
Yeah.
bad that's happening.
Well, and I think Shane Black has, I've never heard this said explicitly, but he tends to set his movies for the most part in LA and around Christmas time. And I wonder if he just has something in his head about LA at Christmas time. It's not cold. There's no snow. It's not really rain. Like,
Yeah.
if it's the juxtaposition there, I don't know.
Yeah, the kind of disillusionment of like, it's not like Christmas is supposed to be, so this is going to be a really weird Christmas.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he also, in, I would say a majority of his movies includes LA Christmas and something to do with like drugs being run through or crime being
Like a
run
shady
through.
businessman.
It's always like adult content. Like it's
Yeah.
always something along those lines. And I wonder if it's just because he has this fascination with how much seedy stuff can go on inside of that industry. I don't know what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
But you think about Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, The Nice Guys, this movie, like they're
Even
all,
Iron Man 3.
Yeah. I mean, it's so interesting to
Yeah.
me. I love when directors have a calling card. That's very fun. But all that to say, this had so many ingredients of a Shane Black movie. And I think it was the direction that it lacked for me.
It's Richard Donner, who did Christopher Reeve Superman.
Yeah.
So we know him from.
Yeah. I think it was lacking his touch in the director's chair for me.
Yeah, I think so too. Because it didn't necessarily lean into that, like, not a surrealism, but lean into that, like, that slick pastiche that all Shane Black movies have.
Right. Because it had, there's the screaming saxophone. Eric Clapton, by the way.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Almost didn't work for me.
Same.
Almost too much.
Yeah.
But there's sometimes that I was like, yeah.
Right.
That I was just like, if you were to look over, I'm like biting bottom lip, eyes almost closed.
Yeah,
like,
just
sway.
swaying.
Just lay low
But except
all
what's
day
funny is
long.
like what's on the screen is like a burning car. Like people are dying. And I'm like, yes.
So
Yes.
is there something about this movie being the Rosetta Stone for buddy cop movies that makes it feel played out, even though it was the
I
first?
think it's the Seinfeld effect. I really do, where it's like Seinfeld is not funny to somebody who watches it for the first time now
Mhm.
because everything is referential to
About
Seinfeld.
nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And it was tough to do that. Like it was tough to just watch it as the first
Right.
like buddy cop type thing in a different way that it was tough to say this was Bruce Willis's first action movie in Die Hard, right? Because it is just so beautifully 80s though. I mean, the font as soon as you see it,
It's aggressively
Mel's
80s.
hair,
Yeah.
like so
Mel's
much
hair
of it.
is
Amazing.
Is that a wig? Or is
I
that
don't
his real
think
hair?
so.
That's his real
That's
hair.
wild.
Flew that in from Sydney for filming.
For
Like,
real.
Yeah. There's just so much I like about it, but it does do that. I mean, it's interesting that you brought that up because I was like, wow, so tropey. I was like,
Yeah.
wait,
It started the trope.
this is the creator.
Right. It was just hard for me to separate at some points. While we're talking about Mel and Sydney, can we talk about his American accent?
At the very beginning is its worst, but
Yeah.
it feels like he picks up on
It
it.
gets better.
Like the first couple lines he says, you're like, is this the first one you filmed? Like, are you
Yeah.
filming chronologically?
Using take one.
Because it's getting better, but at the beginning it was bad. It was really
At the
bad.
Christmas tree
Couldn't
farm.
understand him.
This is
It
like
is
his
horrible.
third or fourth big movie. And the other ones don't even necessarily count as American because it was like George Miller. He had done Road Warrior before this.
Yeah.
And I think he had done three Mad Max movies before this one.
Really?
I think he had already done, he had done Road
Okay.
Warrior, Thunderdome, whatever the other one is. I can't remember.
3 Mad, 3 Max.
Mm-hmm. Which those are good. I can't believe y'all haven't seen those, but
yeah, it's true. It's a good point.
very, very George Miller. I mean, at the beginning.
Yeah.
So I already started this movie at a disadvantage, I think, because
that.
I was going in with Shane Black expectation and I was going in without preparing myself that, oh yeah, this movie spawned a lot of what I've enjoyed in other movies. And so I think I just went in with like the wrong expectation set because not to play my cards too soon, but this was just fine to me.
I feel the same way. I think there's a part of me that was disappointed with First Blood last week, and I was really looking forward to recapturing that Die Hard high.
Yeah.
I think we started so strong with Die Hard. These dads are gonna have a hard time keeping up.
Yeah, I think it'll end well too.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
I think ultimately, like having a buddy cop in Saturday Afternoon and the OG feels very necessary.
You have to.
But my thing, just as yours was, the writer, and to see that, like all the things that culminated into kind of setting it up to not be as good of an experience. I mean, it is Die Hard. I'll tell you, my super pump though is whatever outside influence turned Mel Gibson into Riggs and Bruce Willis into McClane, because the funny thing is these were filmed almost at the same time. They were going to play the opposite role. Like Mel was asked first for Die Hard.
Really?
Bruce was asked first to play Riggs in Lethal Weapon.
No way.
And both of them said, no, I feel like I want to do the other one. And whatever that was,
Interesting.
Yeah.
which it does feel like a more ethereal super pump,
Sure.
that
I'm into
feels
it.
massively influential to action movies
Absolutely. Yeah.
in general. Not that I can't see either of those guys playing those roles. I actually can. And I think they would have success, but it totally changes their career.
Absolutely.
It totally changes their career. So yeah, that is my decision. Because I do really there's parts of me that wanted to pump, like Glover and Gibson are really strong. I
Their
think.
chemistry's great.
They're really good. And I went back and forth between like,
That is my super pump.
Really?
Is their chemistry and their relationship
Yeah.
with each other. I
really
totally
good.
buy the way that it develops over the film, and that because there's some that don't do it well, where it's like by the end of the movie, there's no way that I could believe that you guys are friends, but I really do buy it here.
same. And I almost pumped either of them at one point. Like I was like, it's going to be Glover.
Yeah.
And then I was like, nope, it's going to be Mel. I'm definitely going to pump Mel on this one. But it ended up being, what I said. But yeah, that totally makes sense for the chemistry in general. It made me think of You talk about buddy cop. That has to have some influence on Hobbs and Shaw. Like even
Oh yeah.
to that point of like the bickering back and forth and just the consistent, like one of them is clearly going about things a different way than the other.
I think, okay, this might be heretical. I think Hobbs and Shaw might be the most accurate comparison to this movie if you strip the fact that it spawned the buddy cop genre. Because I think like if 34 years from now, if our children are doing a podcast and they're talking about Hobbs and Shaw, they're going to be very bored by it. And I think they're going to be like, well, I was expecting like something a little slicker and like, or whatever they're expecting. But for us, like we're hearing it and the effects and something about it is so specifically tailored to our interests right now.
Yeah.
It was very fun.
That it's very fun.
No, I agree with that.
And I wonder if that's how dads felt about, or anybody, I guess, who loved this when it came out. It's just like, man, this is cutting edge. This is exactly what I'm into right now. And it's just, I think, so a product of its time in the music, in the styling, even the stylistic choices of the movie and the way that it's edited and the way the dialogue is mixed and the way the performances are played, that something about it just has not quite aged as well.
Yeah,
as I think
for
other
sure.
things
Yeah, I
have
think
from
I
that
agree
era.
with that.
I can see that. Absolutely. I mean, I think I came in thinking I was going to rate it one thing, and then it definitely changed by about midway. It was a $15 million movie that made 120.
Wow.
Wow.
And so it did. I only looked that up because we were talking about like in the moment.
Yeah,
People were like, oh my God, this is amazing.
exactly.
Uh,
Is it like how the world felt about Avatar?
Right.
Where it's like in the moment it explodes. Everybody's like, this is the best thing I've ever seen.
Yep.
right.
And then now, 10 years later, everybody's like, oh yeah, remember Avatar?
well, what is
Avatar's
it?
great.
What is it that makes, not to derail too much, but what is it that makes Die Hard hold up so well? What is it? Why is it that I watch Die Hard for me personally and I go, that's still the greatest action movie of all
I'll
time?
say my super dump is what I should say. And I know we're bouncing all over the place
No,
with
it's
this
okay.
movie. It's the villain. Like my
Yeah.
super dump.
Oh yeah.
The difference is Hans Gruber. 100%.
Yeah.
There is nothing. It's just like a crazy thing, and it makes the pace seem incredibly long because there's also something about, we talked about being in a one building the whole movie.
Yeah.
It is there.
Yeah.
I know the stakes. I am familiar with everything that's going on. This
Yeah.
felt like,
When it feels like a really
Wild.
intimate conflict, even though there's not as much of a personal connection, it
Yeah.
feels like a more intimate conflict lock
yeah.
than this movie does.
My specific super dump, it's specific. It is the stupid 7th, 8th grade burning of the arm of Joshua. What on earth is intimidating about that? When he
Right.
has the lighter, it's all
Yeah.
so weird.
I think it's supposed to be like, this guy would do anything for me, even let me burn his arm. But
We're about to watch a movie where like there's
Yeah, they
another
do
way
that
to
way better.
intimidate people as to
Yeah.
the lengths
Right.
that a villain is willing to go. He's just, but like Busey's not even just taking it. He's actually feels like he's in pain. So at least there's so many things wrong about that scene.
Yeah.
Do it well. Just have him smile,
Yeah.
have him laugh, like have him do something really wild.
Yeah.
Instead of just barely making it through someone deciding
Busey
to burn
felt
his
like,
arm.
like budget Ivan Drago.
yeah,
Yes.
Just like, hey, I loved
100%.
Ivan Drago. Do you think Gary Busey could do something similar to that? And Busey's like, yeah, I could definitely do something similar to that.
yeah.
So, Carter, my super dump is very similar to yours, and Doge, my super pump is very similar to yours. I'm going to wait on them because they come at specific
Wow,
moments. But I
tease.
really agree with you guys.
Ooh, what a good trailer.
And what I wanted to talk about was, so after we get our characters, they meet each other, we find out where everybody lives, kind of what their home life is. We set them up a little bit, and then they go out on the call for the jumper on the building.
Yep.
And that's sort of their first real thing they do together. No. Is this after they go to the drug house?
No, this is
Okay.
before.
So yeah, then they go to the building, and Riggs gets up. I'm sorry, not Riggs. No, yeah, Riggs
Yep.
gets up and climbs the building, handcuffs himself to the jumper, and jumps off to save him. Unorthodox,
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
A little out there, Riggs. But, you know, if it works, I guess it works. But then we go to dinner at the Murtaugh house. It's one of the best scenes in the movie.
Yeah.
It's
This is
great.
good.
This is when I now believe the chemistry between the two of them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This sets up my belief in everything else that happens to them for the rest of this movie,
Yeah.
drawing them closer rather than pushing them apart. And it's all because of this dinner, which I think is a very fun scene.
Mhm.
Not for the girl flirting with the full adult. That creeps me out. I know it was a different time, still uncomfortable.
Yeah, wasn't that different? This is 1986,
That's fair.
right?
Yeah, it's
87,
gross.
yeah.
It's pretty gross.
Yeah. No, that's still not cool then.
You know, I take it back. The young person having a crush on an older person, that's not creepy. His reaction to it is creepy.
Yeah.
Because the first part, that's going to happen. But him
I
not
always
just-
thought he was doing that to dig on Murtaugh.
Definitely.
in the first
Still
one.
creepy, though.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
For
but
sure.
Still creepy.
Murtaugh's supposed to be thinking it's creepy.
But it all culminates in them just like sitting in this boat that's in the driveway, not going anywhere. And I loved that.
Yeah.
I loved that. And
Well,
that
that-
was the first time in the movie that I started to be like, okay, I'm on.
The boat
Yeah.
felt like a metaphor for their jobs. I mean, it was just like Riggs just has a way, and he's like, you're just trying to play it safe. And I think you're kind of going into it, which, I mean, Murtaugh shows his chops. He's a good cop. He just is so close to what he thinks is the end,
Yeah.
and he wants to just stay unscathed. And then here comes a absolute pig pen to come in and just kind of mess up everything.
Right.
From Peanuts.
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
Snoopy.
Yeah.
With the dirt cloud.
Yes, exactly. And
Yeah.
you're like, well, I will not stay clean. Like, I'm getting dirty. It's going to be it's a heroin cloud in this one, though.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of heroin clouds, can you think of a much worse way to die than taking 2 to the chest and then drowning in a plastic bag?
Boy, that was
rough.
that made me warm.
I was antsy. I was antsy.
That made my head itch.
Yeah.
It was.
That was bad.
That's tough.
I think one thing I do like about this that still holds up are some of the surprises. Like in terms of the didn't expect that to blow up and didn't think they'd get shot at and some of that kind of stuff, which is fun. It's not as predictable as I remembered it. And so I did enjoy that about it.
Yeah, no, I
More than
agree.
just whatever character building they're doing for
Yeah.
Riggs. He's supposed to be like, what is he doing?
Oh yeah, but like her house blowing up when they show up, and I really enjoyed Murtaugh's conversation with the kids on the side of the fire truck.
Yeah,
like,
for
I think it was kind of sweet. It was kind of fun to see him like he's got kids, he knows how to talk to kids. I think that was really interesting. I actually wish that they had taken the time to dive into the do cops shoot black people conversation with the kid. I think it was. And maybe that just wasn't as much of a conversation at that time in the 80s. But watching it now, it was like, man, you've got Murtaugh right there with these kids. I don't know. It just seemed like it would have been a really great moment to have that conversation. But maybe that wasn't the right time. In what is this, 84?
87.
87? Yeah, maybe that just wasn't the right time. I don't know
if we can call it not the right time. I think that puts a weird influence on culture. Like,
Sure.
the right time should have never existed. But
Sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I totally hear
It's-
you.
And
But
I know that's not where you're going
I think
to,
it just
but it's
wasn't
like
part of the public conversation.
that's more what I
Yeah.
mean. Like with how much that
or
conversation
how we have more
happens.
movies that are pointed around it,
Sure.
written around that specifically.
With that conversation, it feels like watching it with 2020 eyes, 2020 vision, I guess. Is good.
Ooh.
Watching it with 2020 vision, I was like, oh man, like what a missed opportunity here for like a really great scene. I don't know. It could have been cool.
I don't know that the movie can contain that either. You know what I
Correct.
mean? Like there's like this is fun and thin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. But to me, it's like, oh, but why go there then? Like if you're not
Yeah.
going to walk down that path,
Yeah.
it feels like a weird door to just like kick open and then be like, just know that that's there.
Yeah.
It doesn't have much to do with that conversation in general, but I do like that we have the buddy cop film, the one that kind of made the genre is a white guy and a black guy, but it's not throwing in tropes of like,
We're
racial.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
you know,
No, I
like
like
that's
that a
never
lot.
even a conversation.
Yeah.
And that's honestly how it should be depicted over saying like, I didn't expect that from a white person.
Yeah.
Right.
Or like, you know, so I'm kind of glad that was avoided. I think there's a certain things that need to be talked about. And then some of the stuff that it's like, I think there's some strength to it not being talked about
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it should just be normal. But
yeah. And maybe we're giving too little or not enough credit to someone somewhere along the chain that made those decisions. But I think you're right. I think it could have gone a very different way.
yeah,
And so, I mean, glad it didn't. But yeah, I think those moments of surprise are super interesting in this movie. The house explosion, the sniper in the helicopter at the memorial ceremony.
they just show up.
Yeah.
This villain comes out of nowhere. Joshua's everywhere, always.
Yeah, Joshua too, huh? I mean,
That's a weird one.
feels like they could have landed on maybe.
I think they wanted it to stick. I
Yeah.
think they wanted you to like, but it's just, is it too normal of a name? Is that why it's not working for me?
I think it works if we clearly understand that it's an alias and they're using like Old Testament religious iconography and like this is Joshua and he calls the commander Moses or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if it's
yeah, that's great.
like themed out and we really lean into it, that really works for
It's
me
really
and makes it
interesting.
feel like intimidating and organized. But Joshua's a weird name for this nearly clear boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. But they take out Murtaugh's old friend, his old war buddy.
Which Murtaugh wasn't feeling too bad about it after it happened.
No, for real.
Like,
Well,
you got what you deserve.
Yeah.
Heroin man.
That bad candy.
Yeah.
Giving people bad candy. That's what happens to you.
That's what you get.
Is there much influence to knowing that there was another daughter? We don't ever see her.
No, I thought that was supposed to be a
Could be
big
twisty
reveal.
twin thing, right? Because
They
they're
show
in
the
the same
yearbook like it's going to be a thing.
Yeah, maybe it got cut. It was definitely not a thing.
Like,
Yeah, not at all.
We get the yearbook and he's
I
like,
have another daughter.
Protect her. And it's like, where is she at, though, is the
What's
thing.
she up to?
Yeah, what's her deal? She doesn't seem like you're that concerned about her.
Nope.
No,
Yeah.
that's a thread that was just sort of dropped, I feel, and should
It
have
did
been
feel like
just
that was
cut.
supposed to be a big reveal, though, right? Of like,
Oh, yeah.
of like, oh, she's not dead. She's-
Joshua's his daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dad, I pushed my sister out the building. I'm sorry, I pushed my sister out the building.
I pushed my sister out the building.
I'm sorry I shot you, Dad.
This is how it's got to be, Father. Man, I can't get over that it was Gary Busey. I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
can't get past it.
Yeah.
Nope.
I cannot get past
That's
it.
right up there if it was like Carrot Top.
Just a big old hammer.
Yeah, it's just like, what is this guy
He's
doing?
shooting Gallagher, whatever. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that ages in a very strange way in this movie, but Gary Busey's got to be number one for me. Like in the
Yeah.
whole
What
list.
a bizarre casting choice.
I mean, and his son just looks like him, but with a rounder face. That has nothing to do with anything, but I just think it's interesting.
Okay, cool.
Speaking of things that have nothing to do with anything, I think it's time that we pull off for a rest stop, refuel our bones.
Refuel.
Over in shout outs. And welcome to Shout Announcements. It's the part of the show where we give shout outs and make announcements.
Now do that on every word.
That gave me
Scoop
bad
up into it.
chills.
This week? No, I'm not going to do that. That's terrible. Hey, we have a Patreon. If you're not part of it, please do be. Please do be part of it.
Don't be patrioff.
Get your Patreon. It's awesome. We've got bonus stuff. For instance, this last week, we just put out our episode reviewing Parasite.
It is all in Korean, though. You have to download the subtitles.
Yeah, we did
to
learn
be
a
able to
lot of
hear it.
Korean.
Download the subtitles.
So, yeah, you can listen to the English-only version on Patreon.
Yeah, we
we
got
have completely different people dub over
the
us.
dubbed version is up
Yeah.
on Patreon.
Yeah, it's just, it's really interesting.
Hey, should we do a dub of Parasite, just the three of us? I think that'd be great. People are asking for it.
yeah, it
We
seems
should
like everybody
totally do
really
it.
wants that.
Nope.
Hey, but I know what you're thinking. With that great stuff, it's got to be crazy expensive, right?
It is.
Wrong.
Pretty expensive.
Outrageous.
It's
You're
expensive. It's
ridiculous.
It's very expensive.
The cost is $3.
That's 300 pennies a month.
That's how are you going to find that many pennies? I don't even think there's that many in circulation anymore.
Scrounge around. You know what I'm saying?
Every penny in America.
Maybe so.
We'll get you 1 month of our content.
Dig through every cushion. Climb every mountain.
Yeah, I thought that too.
Does do you have stuff?
Are those lyrics?
Maybe.
I feel very
Through
inspired.
Every cushion. You have to have that kind of vibrato if you sing that song.
The sun is setting on Saturday afternoon. We're about to have to go inside. The grass is cut and it's getting too dark to work on the weeds.
About to throw some ribs on the grill.
Exactly.
Those should have been on hours ago.
These are flash fried ribs.
Okay.
Gross.
We got to go inside now. We can't mow anymore. And it's time to go inside and maybe watch a movie with the
Family movie
family.
night? Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're super excited to tell you what we're doing next. And we're finally going there, guys. We're going to review some Pixar movies.
Yes, we are.
Our brand new series, which is called Pixar Picks. Pick what picks your Pixar Pixar. And in case that wasn't clear, we'll say the name of that series one more time. It is Pixar Picks. Pick what picks your Pixar Pixar.
Very simply.
I don't know how it could be any more clear.
For real. I think we're going for clarity over cutesiness here, and I think
Sure.
we've really nailed it on this
Yeah,
one,
Trying to be
guys.
literal.
But yeah,
The
so-
acronym for that is.
There's a W in there somewhere. And a Y.
I did it. I definitely did it.
I heard it. But you may be hearing that pick is a key word and a key sound that's repeated a lot in this series title. And that's because you, our dear listeners, do get to pick what picks your Pixar picks are.
Thank you.
If you follow us on social media, you saw yesterday that our poll opened for this. You get to pick from all 21 Pixar movies. You're going to pick 7 of them
Man.
And those 7 movies are going to be our Pixar picks.
Now, within that 21, there are a handful of series.
Yeah.
So
Your
the
Toy
way-
Stories, your Cars,
Absolutely.
your Monsters, Inc.
The way we've decided to do that is whatever gets the most amount of votes in that series will be the one, if it has enough, that we will review. Meaning, like, if Toy Story 1, 2, and 3 are 3 of the top 7, we will not review every Toy Story movie. We will
Correct.
make sure to spend time, obviously, on
Dissecting
canon, the
whole
entire
To
story.
respect the lore. Speaking of respect, we do really respect our official chunkies. And because of that, you get one of those Patreon rewards we promised you. You get to vote twice in this poll.
2 votes.
So not only do you get to make your voice heard, but you get to say it again louder for the people in the back.
That's true.
Wait, does our vote open on Super Tuesday? No, it doesn't. Wait, no, it doesn't.
You got any more?
Nope.
Wait.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And speaking of waiting, wait right there, because dads ain't done yet. We still got one more week of Dadder-Day afternoon before we jump headfirst into Pixar. We're still going to touch Terminator 2. That's right. Judgment Day.
More like Judgment Dad.
Nice.
Oh, Judgment Death. Those exist. We have a special guest for my announcements. Gotta thank you for introducing me to the pod. I would like to say, don't forget to rate, and you must review the podcast. If you, I can't do that for
It's
too long.
Arnold Walken.
It is Arnold Walken.
Christopher Schwarzenegger.
Chris Schwarzenegger. Yeah, don't forget to rate and review the podcast, just like my good friend Chris just told us. That would be great for us. Thanks. Follow us on Instagram too. Follow us on Twitter.
Speaking of following us, here we go. Walking on back
Walking
to the show. We're back.
Holy moly. I don't even know that that's going to make it.
It was just
into
a
the
wind up. Don't worry
microphone.
about it.
Voice this.
Hey, yeah, I was throat singing. I was just throat singing. Don't worry.
Tibetan throat podcasting is a really new entry into the art form, but I think it's going to take off.
Yeah,
The alternative is not singing with your throat.
you to betcha. So after the assassination of Murtaugh's friend at the memorial for his only daughter, apparently.
The one he likes.
Yeah, the
see
one
that
he
one.
cares about.
He only likes the one who makes Wii Sports movies. The other one, who's presumably living a great life, he doesn't care about.
Correct.
She's safe. We just get to know that she is safe in the end.
After that, they decide to canvass some prostitutes, and then Riggs gets shot through a window.
Yup.
And something interesting happens here.
Riggs gets shot through a window.
Riggs gets shot through a window. They set up a really cool thing and then do nothing with it, which is they don't know that I'm alive. They think
Yep.
I'm dead.
I don't
And
think
it's
they
like,
do nothing with it.
I think they absolutely do nothing with it. He could have snuck into the bushes alive. I mean, what is that? He just sneaks off to a different part of the desert. He could have gotten out of the car
But
alive.
they're not thinking that he's there. They don't think to check. But that's the thing. They don't think to check far, far away in the desert.
Because no dead man would be out there. Oh no.
Like
You're-
that's it's
I
just
see
like
your point to it.
So this is where things get a little interesting for old Jordan. I'm gonna 1-2 punch. Super
Boom,
pump,
boom.
super dump. Back to back.
Ooh.
My super pump for this whole movie is back at the Murtaugh house. The Christmas lights are on. They're aglow in the light of Christmas light, and they're getting their plan together to go get Murtaugh's daughter back. This feels so good.
Yeah.
The planning, we're about to go get him. They answer the phone, they hang it up, they've got a plan, they have a meeting place. They're talking about, this is going to get crazy. People are going to die here. We might not make it out of this. All in that wash of the Christmas lights in the dark living room. That is fun.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And my expectations soared sky high. That's my super pump. And then we just sort of drive into the desert, meet a helicopter, and stuff goes crazy. That's my super dump.
Oh my gosh.
And it ties in with Doge, what
It's
you're
pretty
talking about, which
ridiculous.
is that this villain who is this guy? I don't understand. He's got a helicopter.
He's all for fanfare, isn't he?
Yeah, but for seemingly no payoff. And like they bring the daughter.
Like all this stuff is driving up, but the music is like it's like this
Right.
Yeah.
aggressive jazz.
I think it's because we have a really hard time defining our protagonists' wants versus their needs.
Yeah.
Because in a story like this, that's where the conflict, the growth should occur. Think about, we already talked about Hercules. Think about Aladdin. Aladdin wants to appear rich. He needs to learn to accept himself. And the conflict arises in a hero's journey type of story from the tension between those two goals. If we want to show these people working together, hero's journey is probably not the best vehicle, but what do either of them want?
Right.
I can't articulate what they want.
Right.
They want to stop the bad guy, but that's a poor conflict lock because that's their job description, not their personhood.
It feels like maybe Murtaugh's daughter should have been kidnapped at the beginning of the movie.
It feels like maybe Riggs's wife should have been killed in a kidnapping.
Yeah.
And
Make
he's
it really personal.
and he's like, I'm not gonna let you become me because it sucks to be me. I don't want this to be anybody else's story.
Yeah. Yeah. This whole thing in the desert is just so strange. We've got the gas grenade that looks like a regular grenade. And I don't know what his plan was. I don't know why there had to be gas before he started sniping from the bushes. And I don't know how the dude got over to Riggs so fast to put the gun up to him. And it seems like he had a clear shot at the big bad multiple times.
It feels like from here on out, it feels like the movie's 3 hours long from here to the end.
Yeah. So
this
much
felt
more
like
stuff
it was
happens
never
here.
going to end.
It is so messy, but in an unrealistic way, right? It's messy and not realistic. Like
Right.
Yeah.
the plan that comes together, which the plan backfires and they get out in another way through torture.
Like doesn't the helicopter and the desert and the big cars and the
That
crew
feels like
of
the final
army,
showdown.
and then like the torture, doesn't it feel like the villain should be like missing an eye with a scar and an eye patch and be like, oh yes, you've come to the final showdown, like petting a cat. It feels like that, but it's just some dude
Yeah.
whose name, by the way, I don't remember. Besides
No.
the code name Moses, do we ever get his real name? Or
We don't
Moses
even-
isn't even.
that's
a
not in
code
the
name.
movie.
He said that would have been a good idea.
I said
It's
that
not.
should have been what it was.
Oh, you
We don't get
implanted
that.
an idea in my brain.
I incepted you, dude.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
See, that's how little I remember about this guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, unfortunately my super dump is much stronger than my super pump here because this really fell flat for me at this point.
Yeah.
The torture scene seems weird to me. That they were like, no normal man could withstand like this much punishment for so long.
He must be crazy.
He must be crazy.
Because
We've got
that's
two
what-
repeats from Die Hard. Did you notice that?
Uh-uh.
We got the guy that tortured Mel Gibson, and then we
Is
have
he the
yeah.
guy that eats the Crunch Bar?
He's the guy at the desk.
When he's,
who,
like, posted up?
steals the candy in
That's
Die Hard.
very funny.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
yes, and then we have the guy who's one of the FBI agents works with Murtaugh.
Oh,
What?
Do you remember one of the
Uh-huh.
guys that flies in?
Wait.
Either Big or Little Johnson.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's. I think it's little.
Whoa. Oh man.
So he must have just gone from set to set. Both of
Shared
these guys.
universe confirmed.
I mean, 100%.
Oh, that would be fun.
Same city.
A team up would be very cool.
Yes.
just while all this is happening, Nakatomi Plaza is
And
exploding.
the guy who tortures Mel Gibson is also, I think, did we say he's Genghis Khan from Bill and Ted?
Uh-huh. Yeah, he is.
Wow.
80s
What a
were good
great
time for these
career.
guys.
What a career for that guy, right?
Yeah,
totally
probably
did.
very literally.
Totally did.
So yeah, the torture seems weird, and then like
The torture's hard to follow.
This kind of turns into a superhero movie at the end.
It does
where it's
a little
like,
bit.
He shouldn't be able to. He's more than a man.
Yeah.
He's crazy.
and then they bust into the nightclub and just like shoot the first guy they see, and
Yeah,
then we cut
that's
over,
awful.
and it's a full nightclub full of people.
yeah, and they're not doing anything yet.
But they still dance after they shoot the first guy.
That's what I'm saying.
They're still partying. They're like, one guy dead, still can party.
Well, I guess they
probably.
didn't hear it. Is that what we're supposed to think?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
And then I do
But
love.
the guy, hold up though. This guy that gets shot at the bar is the worst actor. Like, we've talked about in movies before that like you can just point to somebody and be like, you're the worst thing about this movie.
You don't belong.
But he's so blocked. Like, he's doing his blocking. Like, I'm sure that door opens all the time. What about the sound of this door or the schedule of knowing when that door's supposed to open, I guess, makes him pull a gun and try and shoot immediately?
Dude.
He doesn't even get a chance to look at the door.
His tumble down those stairs. If that's not a stunt guy, hospital.
I think it was the same actress from Parasite that did that. Flew
Right.
down those basement stairs.
Dude, he like thudded at the bottom of those steps. Like I said out loud, oh, whoa. So I do love the police
Just a
cruiser
Zelda
through the
sound
window.
effect.
Ganondorf.
Yeah.
I do love the police cruiser through the window with the Christmas tree at the Murtaugh house.
Yes.
I think that was
Yeah.
very fun and unique. Here's what I don't like. So this movie, the whole time we have a goal. And by the whole time, I mean the last about 15 minutes, we have a goal. And the goal is to get daughter back. We get daughter back, and then we go to the house, and then Joshua's there, and then Mel Gibson's like, I got this. And then he fist fights.
And then everybody's like, yeah, that makes sense.
let him duke it out.
This is my super dump. We don't need mud wrestling. What is happening at the end of this movie?
Yeah.
This is absolutely bananas.
No, I did like, okay, to be fair, I mean, no, not even worth it. And gets up and doesn't kill him.
But that's
like,
not presented as the natural. Like, if his whole thing was like, I can't help killing people, I need to stop killing people, it's just this dang addiction I can't break.
Yeah.
Then this represents a moment of cathartic growth for him, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes very much sense what you have said. It makes perfect sense that this is ridiculous. But this is also what qualified it for this series. Like,
Yeah, right,
this
exactly.
This is John Rambo shooting a whole town.
yeah.
Like,
You're right.
It's
Well, this
so
is-
like, what is this?
This is Idris Elba's motorcycle that's like his pet in Hobbs and
Yeah,
Shaw,
yeah,
where it's
right.
like, that's amazing. And
Yeah,
then in
but
30 years,
why?
people are going to be like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
But here's the thing.
Why is that in the movie?
I hope in the 80s that people were like, the choreography of that fight scene was incredible. It looked like two grown men slap boxing in front of
they
a house
did
to me.
spend a lot of time writing and prepping like whatever training Mel Gibson's character was supposed to have. That was
Good
the
on 'em,
most,
I guess.
most of the IMDb trivia was about like this mix. Like they went and talked to all these professional fighters, and it was going to be a mix of these three things, and did not land very well.
I guess what? I don't care at all.
Yeah,
It's so
for sure.
boring.
I like the rain wasn't rain and it was an exploded hydrant. And I like that the lights from the police cars made it look interesting. Like, that's fun. It was just like, it felt like it went on for a very long time.
It was a very long fight.
And it wasn't, for me, visually interesting beyond that it looked kind of pretty at some point.
Drowning in a puddle is terrifying.
Yeah, that was, but
That he tried to do there. At the
that
end.
didn't last long enough.
Yeah.
You know, it was like
Yeah.
the ratios were off. It was like the actual intense moment lasted about a second, and then two grown men slap boxing in front of a house on Christmas.
I was so bored by this. y'all.
yeah.
Do like Murtaugh just shooting that car coming at him and doing his little, which has us go back to, we haven't talked about the shooting range. I think that's worth talking about.
Oh yeah,
in
that is
this
super
episode.
fun.
That's great.
Yeah, that's
like
smiley
that whole
face.
scene
Yeah.
is so fun. Have a nice day. Like a lot of the posters for Lethal Weapon are that smiley face,
Right.
And it says "Have a nice day" as the tag.
I thought they were going to. I thought he was going to shoot a bunch of times and it was going to come back. He's like, you didn't even hit it one time, and then he was going to look and see that he shot through the exact hole that he shot. Like
Oh,
9
yeah.
times.
That would have been fun.
Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Splits the arrow.
Uh-huh.
But no, I did like the shooting range a lot. I thought that was very fun.
I only bring that up because we do get him to like pop his neck or whatever to shoot the car. It's all so fun.
Yeah.
So fun.
Yeah, and those are the moments, that kind of stuff, and the recurring joke of, can I drive? You want me to drive? I can drive. And then he finally drives at the end. That's fun.
Yeah.
I enjoy that.
And how they
Let's
kept
ha-
looking at each other and be like, it's pretty thin, right?
Yeah.
That was good
Yeah.
too.
I love that. That
when-
stuff is fun.
When they're like exhausted, he's like,
That feels-
anorexic. Yeah,
that feels like a
was good.
Shane Blackism,
Right.
right?
So I was talking.
What did one shepherd say to the other shepherd? That feels like Shane Black.
That timing was bad.
It was awful. I don't think Mel's very funny,
right.
but
So I was talking to Callie while we were watching this, or right after it ended, and I was like, and maybe we'll review this someday for some reason, but Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is my favorite Shane Black movie. It's so funny and it's so interesting. And there's a line in the movie where Robert Downey Jr.'s character breaks down a fraction, and he's like, 1 out of 6, so there's like a 33% chance. And Val Kilmer just stares at him and goes, "Who taught you math?"
Yeah.
And it's so quick and it's so funny. And it's those moments in that movie that make me love it so much. And then in this, that just wasn't present.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was because, I don't know if the limitation was the director, the actors, that Shane just didn't have the credit to swing around yet. I don't know what it was. But those moments that could have elevated this movie to like a really funny movie to me just kind of weren't there.
what did
Yeah.
Richard Donner do between Superman 1 and this? Because I wonder if that's part of it.
Those moments might have been there. It just might not have been enough for us. I think the wife's cooking and all that kind of stuff was pretty funny. But yeah, it didn't feel like it landed as well as it thought it did.
Yeah, Richard Donner really didn't do much besides the Goonies between Superman and this. And it feels like,
But he's in the Goonies. He didn't write that.
oh yeah, I guess so. So it's
Yeah.
not like, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like a filmmaker who's just come off of making a very heavy-handed Christ allegory. Probably is not going to jive with Shane Black too much.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That is interesting, right? Like,
Seems like a weird pairing. Richard Donner doesn't feel like the right guy to do this at that time.
And to
No, I wouldn't
me,
think so.
to me, that becomes evident the further we go into this
Yeah.
movie. Again, I think I went in with wonky expectations to begin with.
Yeah, I did too.
But even watching it, I was like, this just doesn't. This feels like incongruous. Maybe is the right word. Like it felt like a mismatch. Yeah, you're exactly right.
Let's have a conversation only reserved for a podcast like ours.
Sure.
Let's separate ourselves from every other podcast that's existed and have the conversation around how similar are action movies to musicals.
Yeah,
I'm being serious.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to put yourself in a state of, okay, this doesn't really happen ever in the world anywhere, but I get it. Like in musicals, it's the literal, like everyone's singing their lines. They're
Right.
just, the highway in LA has stopped so that they can dance on their
Exactly.
cars. In action movies, it's like, okay, well, the hydrant's blown. The lighting's good in a way that's not realistic. Like people don't put lights out that far.
Sure.
Like all these random things. And is that like, is there a similarity between the two that you just need
I
to go
think-
in with a complete? Because I feel like when you call it an action genre, it is some of the most saturated throughout the entire movie.
Exactly.
Like a musical is.
Sure.
Whereas drama is like, okay, like we can mix in some stuff here. It doesn't always have to be completely dramatic the whole time. I don't know.
I think it's easy. I think musicals and action spectacle movies run the same risk of falling apart in the same way, where the main draw and the defining characteristic is these big set pieces.
You know?
For musical, it's like it's the song, the I Want song that starts off every Disney animated movie. It's the big closing number at the end. And with action set pieces, it's like, we traditionally have like 4 or 5 big set pieces that might be a poster or like, this is what the Lego set, this is what the toy is going to
Right.
be from the movie. And if our characters enter those in one emotional state and exit in the same emotional state, if we pause the story to watch the spectacle, I think that's a failure of that moment.
Sure. It makes me think of, I'll use like, you brought up the car scene at the beginning of La La Land. So I'll just use that as a quick example. When I'm watching La La Land, and this could just be me, but when I'm watching that, I'm not going, man, in the universe of La La Land, traffic just stopped so everybody could get out and dance. What I'm watching is going, that is almost a personification of how somebody is feeling in that moment. It feels like, we watch Frozen and Elsa sings a song. I'm not going, oh man, this is just a universe where people sing a lot, so much as this is an artistic way of showing what she's going through music. In an action movie, I'm not going, man, Riggs is mad at Joshua, so this is an artistic way of showing that they're settling their beef. They're just actually fist fighting in front of the house. That to me is where the separation goes. In a musical, as long as there's growth and a reason for the song, I can excuse almost anything because frequently in musicals, things go back to the way they were before the song in the world around it. People clear off their lunch trays and just go back to business as usual. And it feels more like this is a metaphor for how they're feeling and we get the singing, but the universe doesn't. When Troy goes home in High School Musical, he's not like, I sang a song in the cafeteria today.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh, I went through a thing. The song is just how the lens we're watching it through. But
For
in
sure.
an action movie, we're not watching an internal struggle through the lens of action. We're watching them actually blow things up and punch
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
To me, that's where it falls apart.
Yeah. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time trying to defend the last fight because I agree with everything that y'all have said about it. But I think that with the setting that it's given, which is completely ridiculous to have all these people watch this fight, we see Murtaugh, which we've kind of already seen up to this point because of everything that he's just letting Riggs run loose and he doesn't
Right.
care. I'm already scratched. I'm not worried about that anymore. And then we're also seeing, like, is this supposed to be a pivotal time that Riggs decides, like, what am I thinking? Like, trying to take my life. Like,
Right.
is the relationship with Murtaugh the new relationship? Like, it's like this, is this his reason to stay alive? He's looking at his family and he's like, wow, how selfish have I been to think that I would take my life with this bullet at the beginning and I give the bullet back.
Right.
And it's like, and he's about to choke him out and we see a flip. And now Murtaugh is saying, end his life, kill him. Because this is what Riggs has been teaching.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
we've had 3 times, I don't remember what you'll usually call that, but like situations to where the roles are there and then it's reiterated and then it happens again.
Yeah, a 3-beat.
And then he doesn't. And then Mel's the one who says, no, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
And then now we've got this collective. We are bound not by blood, but by a simultaneous gunshot of buddy copdom to
So
kill
I love
bad
that
guy.
moment. I love the two of them when Mel slides up and they both pull out and shoot.
Yeah.
Love that moment. I think that's great. I think that belongs here.
Yeah.
I don't think the final fight's completely worthless. I just think it looks ridiculous.
So that's my thing. I think there's a space for it, but it's like, can it be good? And maybe it was incredible when it came out.
Sure.
For Jordan,
Right.
it did not age well at
It
all.
feels
Like it was so boring to watch.
It feels like we're trying to have a 4-act structure the way Pixar typically does, which
Right.
I guess teaser for some of our discussions in a month or so.
Right.
But like think of The Incredibles when we save the city and we solve the big world-ending threat, and then the stakes are really personal when Syndrome takes Jack and flies up into the sky.
Right.
It feels like we're trying to have a save the world moment and then a like save the personal stakes moment.
Yeah.
But
Needs to be
those
set up better.
they're not really super clear, and there's no conflict lock between our protagonist and our antagonist.
Mhm,
and then
right.
it's not really a save the world moment. It's already a personal moment.
The reverse, the way to do that would have been have them stop the drug trafficking, and then Joshua calls them from Murtaugh's home. He got away, and now he has the daughter.
He's got their whole family or something.
And so
Yeah, exactly.
instead of daughter and then go home and fight Joshua, it's fight the big bad. Joshua gets away, but hey, at least we saved the day. And then Murtaugh's phone rings and it's his wife. And she's like, there's a man in here. And now all of a sudden it's rushed to get home. It feels like it was reversed, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think I agree. It's interesting.
It's funny. It's good. I think it's been good, the movies that we've chosen to have a part of this series, because they just feel like almost different genres. Yes, it's all
Yeah.
Saturday. Yes, it's all action. But man, is there a way to do it really well?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of places to slip up.
Well, and it's easy. It's really easy to be an armchair director. You know what I mean? Or like, what do they call it? Like a Monday morning director. Yeah.
Quarterback,
Like it's really
Monday
easy
morning
to look
football,
at it.
to be a football
Football boy.
director.
It's really easy to look at it and go, well, this is how it should have been, obviously.
Yeah.
But this was 1987. Like, maybe it was incredible for then.
But
I
that's
don't
what
know.
I'm saying. That's what's so tough, is because Die Hard came out months later.
And Die Hard, to me, holds up with the best of them. So,
Exactly.
I know.
So it's like-
hard.
It is.
It is Die Hard.
It's Die Hard.
In
yeah,
fact.
even.
But
Did
yeah,
you know Mel and Bruce are also like 6 months apart in age?
Really.
So these two guys were
Wow.
like flipped roles.
So if you really choose to look at this like these two movies are head to head in a battle, to me, there's a clear winner.
Oh my
no, I don't
gosh,
think it's a
easy.
head-to-head thing.
Right, but if you're just saying like these are two paths that either
Mhm.
of them could have taken, they diverge in the wood, and the wood is Lethal Weapon or Die Hard.
Right.
But anyway, I think it's time to rate this movie.
I think so.
And we here at Two Chunks and a Hunk have the perfect way of doing that, the scientific cinema scale, which is as follows. The best thing we could ever say about a movie is own it, don't lend it,
Buy that poster.
After that, it's going to be buy it, followed by rent it, and then stream it. After that is forget it, and last but certainly least, the worst thing we could ever say about a movie.
God hath forsaken us.
Let me go first.
Okay.
I grew up on Lethal Weapon,
Mhm.
but it's a stream.
Okay.
I streamed this movie. This is sad. I feel like I'm having to sit down with a good friend, and like
We
it's
can't
a
hang out
one-on-one
anymore.
intervention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just doesn't do it. I think it is important. And sometimes I bump up in the ratings a movie if it's important to like culture and filmmaking, because I have to give it some kind of credit there because it was good at some point. But in the moment that I watched it last night, it was just a stream. Like it just wasn't doing it. Honestly, maybe like the rest of this series was. I didn't think I would come liking First Blood as much as this movie, or maybe more. Like there's parts of it that I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it kind of makes me sad. But I honestly do think it is just a stream for me.
It's going to be a stream for me as well. I think it's a fun action movie to throw on if you want to watch a fun action movie. And it's ultimately no more, but no less than a fun action movie.
It is Saturday in a way that none of the other movies are.
Yeah.
Which is funny. It's like they
Yeah,
come
it really
in
is.
and it's like it is just enough to go ahead and watch whatever
Yeah.
is on at whatever time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not a stream, maybe it's a watch it on TV. Change the channel during the commercials, but just watch it on TNT.
Right.
If you miss coming back right after the commercial, it's okay.
It's fine.
Yeah,
You
it's
know
fine.
what? Yeah.
They're asking if they can drive. They're saying it's thin,
Yeah. This is a stream. This is a stream for me as well. It was actually almost a forget it.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that bumps it to a stream is it is the Rosetta Stone from which so many buddy cop movies have spawned,
Mhm.
that it feels like it deserves some credit there. Carter, I think I'm taking a page out of your notebook here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be a stream for me. I don't feel like I wasted my time watching it, and I'm not disappointed, but it just did not do it for me.
Yeah.
It's Steamboat Willie in a little bit, where it's like, sure, I respect Steamboat Willie. The first like sound animation, like it's good, I guess. But
Yeah.
About
I-
1,000 things I'd rather watch.
I like The
instead.
Lion King way better.
Right.
But The Lion
Right.
King owes unrepayable debt to Steamboat Willie, so I
Yes.
have to
Right.
kind of like Steamboat
Yes,
Willie.
that's a great
Right.
metaphor.
But it feels kind of like if Steamboat Willie and The Lion King came out 6 months apart and starred Mel Gibson and Bruce Willis.
Yes. Yeah.
That is what's so crazy. That is just wild to me.
Well, Mel Gibson did do the whistling for Steamboat Willie.
Right.
It was amazing.
That is true.
He's like, woo! You know how a whistle sounds.
He's John Smith of Pocahontas.
Yeah.
So
Is he really?
yeah.
To close out today's episode, I'd like for you to recast for a Lethal Weapon remake in 2020.
Which there's a TV show, by the way.
There is a TV show.
No, thank you. For 2 Chunks and a Hunk, I'm Jordan Wonders, and I'm really excited about my pick. I'm going to do Rachel McAdams and Octavia Spencer.
That's really great.
I think they're funny enough. I think Rachel McAdams in True Detective showed that she can be kind of grim. I think that she's got that edge. I think they would have great chemistry. I think that is a win.
Yeah, I would be really interested in that actually. I'm Doge, and we're gonna go Ryan Reynolds for the comedy chops to
Mhm.
make it a little bit more zippy. And then we're gonna go Mahershala Ali in his old man makeup from True
Oh.
Detective season 3.
It's very good. Mahershala was almost in mine. I'm gonna go. My Murtaugh is Matthew McConaughey,
Yep.
All right. Yeah, that sounds perfect.
and my Riggs is Anthony Mackie.
Oh yeah, that's really good.
Whoa.
So that's what I want.
That's really good.
Into that.
What do we need to do to go make that happen? We're so far away.
We're close.
Hey,
though.
rate and review us. Subscribe.
Please, we need to make
Give us
we need to
momentum.
remake Lethal Weapon.
Hey, but here's the deal. I want to remake it, but I just want Shane Black to write it and also direct it
Yeah.
this time. Ooh.
So what are we? Some kind of lethal weapon?